Welcome to Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Lisa. We're sisters walking together on a journey of faith, seeking God and growing through the quiet stirrings of midlife.
And to that question, we all find ourselves asking, what now, Lord?
Through honest conversations, shared stories, and practical Catholic wisdom, we explore how God refines us in changing seasons.
Strengthening our minds in truth, steadying our hearts in faith, and deepening our spirits in Christ.
Whether you're navigating a transition, discerning what's next, or simply longing to grow deeper,
you don't have to do it alone.
This is a place where we grow together, learning to trust God more deeply and to step into who He is calling us to be in this season.
Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode from Of Sound Mind and Spirit. I'm Shelly.
And I'm Lisa. Thank you for joining us today.
You know, Lisa, over these past few weeks, we've been seeing something really interesting online. I know you've seen it because you told me about it. But all these visitors from around the world are here right now in the U.S. for that, what is it called, FIFA World Cup. And they're sharing all their experiences on social media. And it just keeps popping up.
Yes. Even our mom has mentioned this to me, and she does not like sports at all. So it's everywhere. What's caught our attention isn't just the soccer. It's the joy and wonder that these visitors are expressing and that they're experiencing everyday life in America. They're excited about things many of us barely notice anymore. Our towns, our neighborhoods, the friendliness of strangers, local restaurants, wide open spaces, community events, and even simple trips to the grocery store.
I know. It's kind of been refreshing to watch, being able to see our country reflected through the eyes of first-time visitors. It reminds us of, I guess you could say it reminds us that what feels ordinary to us is still in some ways extraordinary to other people.
And it raises an important question. Why does it sometimes take someone from outside to remind us of the blessings that surround us every day?
I know, and as Christians, we are called to live with grateful hearts. But sometimes the familiarity we have with all the things around us, they somehow make us overlook the beautiful gifts that God has put right in front of us.
Mm-hmm. So today, dear listeners, we'd like to reflect on what these World Cup visitors might be teaching us, not just about America, but about gratitude, wonder, hospitality, and learning to see God's blessings with fresh eyes.
So really the question to get started is, why does it take visitors to remind us how remarkable our own country can be?
Right.
So often we hear about people going to Europe. Oh, we have to go to Europe. Oh, we have to go to Europe. Oh, Europe's so wonderful. And it feels almost like we're trying to escape the U.S. But here we've got a summer where the entire world, including Europe, is coming to the United States. And their joy
I know, it's
of
crazy,
what they're
right?
finding here is infectious. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So it's funny if you think through what are some of the things that the visitors are coming from all over the world. There are 48 countries in the World Cup. 48 this year. It's expanded version. But they're coming from all over, and the World Cup is over a month. It ends July 19th. So
I feel like I need to throw a caveat out there, though, for our listeners that I am not the person who watches soccer. I watch baseball, but Lisa and her family, they love soccer. So if you watch our social media, she's got what did you have the other day? Like a score sheet on your
I've got brackets.
On your breakfast table or something?
Yeah, on the counter, yeah. I got printed brackets.
All printed out, yeah.
Well, there's 104 games. 104 games. It's the only way to keep track of them.
First half of baseball.
Yeah. So it's so interesting because people are here from all over, and the news was kind of like, oh, this is not going to be a good summer, blah, blah, blah. And it has been completely different. It's so amazing because while most people, the people who pay attention to soccer are hearing about soccer, but I think the rest of the country is really just hearing about these visitors and what they're experiencing. So What are they? What have you seen, Shell? What are they experiencing?
Well, it's funny because they weren't showing up in my social media feed until you started talking about it a few weeks ago. And now my social media feed is full of it.
Yeah.
There's two things that I will say that I'm seeing pretty consistently. And one of them is Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's.
Those of our listeners, if it hasn't come to your state yet, I have a feeling it will be in the next 3 to 5 years. They are expanding everywhere, mostly in the Southeast. But the other thing I'm seeing a lot.
Tell them what a Buc-ee's is.
Oh,
you can't just throw out Buc-ee's like that and then not say what it is.
Why not? Everybody, go look on social media. You'll see it.
Well, yes, you can Google it.
It's a Buc-ee's started as a gas station, and it's just kind of grown into a cultural phenomenon. It is something like up to probably 80 to 100 gas pumps now, always full.
Yes, always full.
And
it's a gas station, Texas style, with a huge food court, shopping, fresh food, all the things inside.
No, it's more like a huge shopping center with a gas station outside.
Okay.
Started as a gas station. It's not a gas station anymore. And
so anyway,
they are known for their clean bathrooms.
Clean bathrooms, yes. Abundant and clean.
They aren't showing on social media.
No, I guess. No, weird. That's not true. I have seen some Europeans comment on not only the bathrooms clean, but they're free. Because in a lot of, not just Europe, but a lot of parts of the world, bathrooms, aren't always clean. Trust me on experience on this one. And they're not free. So free bathrooms.
The other thing is that they can get water for free, or that they go to a restaurant and they put bread on the table and it's free. So,
or chips and salsa.
But the water for free, or free refills.
That's free refills. Yes,
one guy is like,
this Coke.
This is, and the guy's like, you can't. You're not actually going to get 1,000 refills. And he's like, but I could.
I know. I love that guy. Even things from going to the grocery store, and just the grocery store visits are hysterical. And just looking at the sheer volume and variety of food. You know, the cereal aisle, the chips aisle. They just don't, other parts of the world don't have the abundance and the choices that we have in stores. And that's something we very much take for granted, I think. The friendliness, people holding the door open for them, talking to them, people just chatting them up, which I think is more of a Southern thing, in my opinion. Not everywhere in the U.S. is that as friendly as other parts. Not calling anyone out, but certain areas of the country are more friendly than others.
I like watching them, like trying to figure out what an HEB fresh warm tortilla is, and they're trying to describe it. Yeah, and then they're just like,
yeah. It's really just interesting. I see videos of people finally understanding what air conditioning. Like why we're so obsessed with our air conditioning. Again, that's probably, in the states that are really hot right now, because we've been really hot for June here in Houston. And I love it because we've gotten grief worldwide for years over our addiction to air conditioning. And now they're here and it's really hot and humid. It's really humid right now. And they're just like, I get it. This is amazing, So
I think our heat index was like 110, 115 yesterday. So.
Exactly. And then they are understanding also why maybe, again, where we are, don't have a lot of mass transit. We have buses. We don't have, subways and stuff here. And they say because the roads are so much nicer here, wider, easy to drive. I did see a tourist, and I forgot where he flew into, and he rented a Dodge Ram pickup truck. And he was so excited to drive a pickup truck. And then of course he stopped for a cowboy hat, and, just experiencing the open road, versus taking trains and things that other people do. And how far everything is. I've seen videos explaining to tourists, no, you really can't walk to stadiums. You can't. There's freeways in the way. It's not, or it's too hot, or it's just, it's very different. And it's not all negative. A lot of it is very positive. They didn't understand things until they got here, which is still cool.
That's true for me a lot when we travel. I've been to cities where I didn't understand why they kept insisting we do things their way. And then I went and visited them and it was like, oh, because it works here. It like really, really works here. It would never work in our house, in where we live in Texas, but it really works well. First time we went to Boston and we were trying to figure out the metro or whatever they call it. Remember that?
We have a picture of us standing in front of that map.
We do, but it works there. Yeah. And it works, so I get it now. And I think that watching them experience that for the first time, it reminds us of our own adventures, but also it helps us to kind of understand that not every place is the same and that there's things that work there that aren't going to work here and it's okay. It's okay. Dad would say, it's okay. Life's not fair. But it's okay.
Well, Dad said that last week on the podcast. And if you haven't listened to our dad's interview last week, you really, really, really need to go listen to it. One of the things he pointed out was that, God didn't make us all the same. And God made us all with great diversity. And if he hadn't, life would be really boring. And that's how I feel about this. I love seeing other people come to our country and see what we just encounter every day and we don't think of as a big deal because it does open your eyes and think, I'm so grateful that they're showing us what we neglect to see on a daily basis. That's really awesome.
Something you said, Lisa, makes me realize that we are seeing in our personal social media feeds that I think a lot of those are coming in Texas and they're in and around the city of Houston and Dallas because that's where we live and we interact a lot. But there's one where they're talking about how nice people are and just how kind and generous people have been. But I think one of my favorites is when they're trying to figure out how to eat barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's ribs. And they're trying to figure out like with their knife and their fork. And the gentleman who owns the place, I think, comes over and he's like, "No, man, let me explain. So now you're going to pick it up like this, and that's right. And your fingers are going to. That's why we have these things here. But they don't just look down upon them like, oh, you don't know how to eat my food. No, they're like, hey, man, you're new. Let me teach you. Let me explain it to you, and not in a negative way, but in a way that makes them feel welcome and comfortable asking the question and like." Oh, wow. Y'all are really nice. And that's so helpful. But how many times have we gone into a restaurant that isn't of our ethnicity and not known how to eat the food? I'm thinking of the first time I went and had Vietnamese pho. I had no idea what I was doing. It's my favorite thing. But somebody took the time to say, hey, this looks different for you. Here's how you do this. And just that little bit of hospitality, that little bit of generosity, it cannot be overstated.
And we're seeing it in abundance. And I guess I was kind of holding my breath before the World Cup started because according to the news, this was going to be a disaster. And it hasn't been
anything right.
Well, that's true. I think that it's because it's going well. In my opinion, all this, because it's person to person. And I think that innately, I'm a very positive person, and I innately believe that we look for the good in each other and approach each other as individuals and not just as stereotypes or how the media wants to define us. And I'm really thankful that that's how it's going. People just seeing each other as humans and that we're all getting super excited about, hey, let me help you. Like, let me show you. How about this? And what about that? And I will say, I'm gonna quote a meme for a second that I've been seeing a lot on social, which I don't think you said you've seen, but I just loved it because it just seems so true. And it says, somebody said that the World Cup is just the U.S. having a giant sleepover with cousins we never see because our parents hate each other. And I thought, that is so true.
Oh, that's so true.
The world wants us to hate each other, right? It wants us to all be against each other and all this stuff. And instead, we're just all happy to, get together, have fun, see each other's joy, and cheer on each other's teams. And because there's a lot of people out there cheering for other teams. It's not just you have to. I mean, I think if you're from U.S., you should cheer for the U.S., obviously. But I also think it's fun to like. I had friends who went down to the Netherlands Big Orange March here in Houston the other day. 20,000 people. A lot of them are Houstonians, and they just wanted to go because why not? Like, this is cool. This is fun. Let's go see what this orange double-decker bus is all about. You know.
Yeah, you were telling me about that this morning, that a lot of the Houstonians were wearing their Astros baseball orange shirts so that they could be there in solidarity and welcoming. And I don't know how far they walked, Lisa, but it was hot.
It was really hot. Thankfully, they the counties and the city worked in advance, and they had EMS out there and fire trucks. The fire trucks sprayed people with water, and EMS were there to treat people for heat. Exhaustion, heat stress, which unfortunately some people did have to go to the hospital. So they did plan ahead. One of my other favorites is them finally understanding why in Houston, walkable culture is not a thing. Like we don't want to walk outside. We love to walk outside. We just don't want to do it in the summer because the heat index, like we said, is over 110. And the other thing is, while they were standing in line for the game to open the other day here in Houston, it started pouring down rain. Oh. So one minute they're all dying of heat stroke, right? And then the next moment we had all these storms roll through and they're soaking wet. And it's just like, this is life in Houston. I mean, we all just kind of chuckled. And I heard that the fans were frustrated, of course, but they were laughing because it's like, oh my gosh, we got to experience. I heard in Kansas City, I think it was, they had some tornado watches or warnings. And it's just like everyone getting to experience all of America all at once. It's.
Are you saying that The Wizard of Oz and Dorothy and the Tornado is about to become a big resurgence in Europe? They're going to be watching that movie again. I experienced a Kansas tornado.
Yeah, or the movie Twisters is going to become popular again.
Oh, Twisters, that's probably better. Yeah.
Well, like one of the national teams, at least one that I saw, went to a baseball game. Just to experience it, you know, and I don't know. It's been so much fun. One of my favorites, you mentioned barbecue, was a Japanese man eating barbecue for he was very excited, and you know, watching him devour barbecue was with like a grin on his face. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. And I saw one where they were saying that all the things that are wrong with the United States, and the guy was literally like, but now that I'm here, it's not. It's not wrong at all. And somebody says, but you have to tip. And they're like, I don't have to tip. I want to tip. They did a great job. I had a wonderful experience, and I thought that was sweet. So
yeah, think about it. We go visit other countries. It's a huge thing right now in American culture to want to have an experience, a travel experience. It is summertime and lots of people are out traveling. It's something that we do. And one of the reasons we do it is not just to see the physical beauty of a place, but we also want to go see how different it is, and we want to experience something outside of our normal. And so, bringing it back to they're coming here, and a lot of them are here for soccer. Let's be fair, like they're here because of the games, but they're staying, and a lot of them are staying for weeks, and they're road tripping, and they're experiencing something outside their normal, and it really. How do we have that same sense of wonder and gratitude that they're giving us here? How do we do that with what's right around us? Can we learn from them?
Well, I think what it does is it kind of opens our own eyes to look around us and see it through a different lens. Watching the Europeans and the foreign guests respond and react to what we take for granted is kind of, like I said, it's reflecting it back, and now we're excited again. I mean, I will tell you, I've been taking Buc-ee's for granted. We just traveled over to Florida and back, and we stopped at a new one, and I was kind of muttering, people don't know what the traffic pattern is here. They're supposed to go this way, not that way.
You were actually.
I think it just seeing the joy coming across on social media reminds us that there's more good in our country than the pundits and the people chasing response videos would want you to believe, especially the news. The news is about trying to make things seem dire, so you'll stay tuned in. but
right.
I find it much more
leads.
refreshing. Yes, I find it much more refreshing to see our country through these new eyes.
It is exciting. It is. Well, if you think about it, I mean, as Christians, we're called to live life with a sense of gratitude, right? And I think that I know I've been very focused on, nature and God's creation in that way in the last, especially several years, and seeing God working through that. But sometimes you need that reminder to see how God is working through us, through humans, through our own communities, or even our churches. One of the things that really stood out to me in the last week was how much our own archdiocese has been outreaching to we'll call them tourists, the tourists that are here. Houston is a very diverse city. I think it is one of the most diverse, mostly because of the probably the hospital centers, the medical center, and the energy stuff
Corridor.
here. But so we have mass in, I can't remember how many languages. I think it's like 40 languages in a weekend, every weekend. But they made a point to really get out there on social media and get out there online, even in the news, and help the tourists that are here from all over find masses in their language, masses that might feel comfortable. And then they held, since we've got Portugal's here twice and with a weekend in between, evidently there's always a mass in Portuguese in Houston every weekend, which I did not know that. But they moved it to the co-cathedral, and then put a real emphasis on it so that the visitors that were here who speak Portuguese would have a mass in their language. And I read some of the comments of people who went, and some went and they didn't even speak Portuguese, but they just went because it was mass and it fit their time on Sunday. And, and I loved it. I loved that it was such a feeling of hospitality and an opportunity for our visitors to get a little taste of Houston.
Yeah. I think that, Lisa, we had an episode on charisms, explaining charisms. I think that was like 100 and something, 102. And then earlier, we had a guest, Mary Beth Eberhard, talk about seeing Christ in every guest. She was talking specifically about that charism of hospitality. Hang on. Yeah, episode 82. See, I wrote it down.
Oh, there you go.
But I love kind of seeing it bloom and blossom. It's this experience and this event is giving everyone who maybe naturally has that gift of hospitality the opportunity to practice it in a way that just really reaches out to others. And then, as we've talked about in that other episode, charisms can sometimes be a temporary gift. It can be something that's temporary. And I just love the image in my mind of kind of the Holy Spirit just kind of, this is going to sound silly, kind of flying over the whole country and sprinkling the gifts of hospitality down, so that no matter where these tourists, wherever these guests are, there's somebody in a neighborhood, in a community, as a volunteer, in a church, at the stadium, in law enforcement, somebody who's extending a helping hand, who is offering that smile. Yes, Americans smile too much, but maybe they understand it now, that they're here and we just want them to have a good time, a good experience. Yeah. Not for any outside purpose, but just because it's a blessing and it's a gift. And
I think that what you said was really important, that I don't think we're trying to be nice to put on nice. Something. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's
not
just
trying to put on a show.
We genuinely, most of us, want people to have a good time. We want them to have a positive experience. Just like when we go to another country, we want to have a positive experience. And I think there's so much about helping people feel comfortable. I was thinking, you said the Holy Spirit flying over the country. And, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops did just consecrate our nation to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. That happened a couple of weeks ago. We had Emily Jaminet on to talk about the Sacred Heart devotion and what all wonderful. Of that meant. And then we also had the 250th anniversary of our birthday, which is a birthday of our nation, coming up And I think it all just goes together. There's a lot of people kind of calling on the Holy Spirit and asking God to bless America. And I'm hoping, not today, but I'm hoping in a future podcast, we'll talk about why we say God bless America, because there is background to why we say those words and what it means. But I think it's an opportunity for us to watch these silly social media reels and tweets and, all of these things, and to think, how am I welcoming these strangers? How would I welcome Christ if he was walking through our streets? What would I do? How would I show love to these people?
That's a great idea.
I don't have the answer. I don't know how I would do it, but I think that simply, I think we start with recognizing them, recognizing gratitude for what they're seeing in our country that we might not recognize every day. When you walk down the cereal aisle, going, wow, I have a lot of choices in the cereal aisle. I
think that I have not been in a European grocery store, so I don't know the difference. So they come and they say it. And so I have no point of reference then to know that's what they're, but,
well, these aren't just European visitors. Remember that. This is from all continents except for Antarctica. There could be someone here from Antarctica. I have no idea. But
well, if they were from Antarctica, they'd be from another continent that went to Antarctica to live and study.
That's what I was saying.
You don't spend a lot of time there.
The World Cup team that is based in Houston, that is training in Houston, is from the Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. They are staying in Houston the whole time that they're here. So there was a huge, rah-rah when they got here and people welcoming them. My favorite, though, was, I think it's Algeria, is based in Kansas somewhere. For the World Cup. And one of the universities, I apologize to my Kansas friends for not knowing if it's Kansas or Kansas State. I don't know. But one of them, they learned their national anthem. And when they got off the plane, they greeted them with the band playing their national anthem and waving flags and welcoming them to Kansas. And it made the news all over because everybody was so shocked, that they would take the extra effort to do this. And I just thought, why wouldn't we? I think that's great, but why wouldn't we do that?
I think the point is that somebody organized that. Somebody had the idea. It wasn't like we just went out into the street and said, hey, pass the sheet of lyrics around. We're all going to sing the song you don't know. So that shows that there was a lot of planning and a lot of thought into how can we make people feel welcome. And again, there's that gift of hospitality, the right people in the right leadership positions, taking the time to put that kind of thought, and then the leadership to gather people together and inspire them and motivate them to go out and participate in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Or people just posting it on social and other people saw it and just went, why not?
No, see, you were telling me that. I had no idea there was a parade in Houston until I saw it on social media the other day. And it's like
there
after
were two.
The fact.
You had the Netherlands and then you had Sweden. And they both marched.
I only saw the orange one.
Yeah, the orange one was way
I haven't seen the other one.
It was way larger.
Yeah. I have not personally seen any people here from anywhere else yet, but I guess I haven't gotten out much since we got back. Now, I am curious. I did see there was a very long parade of bagpipes being played in, what did we say that was, Boston? And I think Scotland is playing in Boston.
Scottish.
And so I'm curious, were those American citizens playing the bagpipes for the Scottish people? Or what did Scotland literally send over a 250 person band?
I have no idea. I did hear that 1 in 5 men you saw in Boston a week or so ago were all wearing kilts. So
wow.
I have no idea if there's that many of them that are here. Also, though, I think it was some Patriots players were also wearing kilts to support the Scottish team. So that's the funny thing. I love that everyone's just like, let's jump in and, embrace and learn from each other and celebrate with each other. And I saw a video where someone was teaching it was a man from Korea, had to like down a Guinness beer. I'm like, I didn't know there was a way to do that. I don't drink
either.
Guinness, but like,
just a beer.
it was really funny. So Shelly, how do we, let's say we're talking about gratitude, we're talking about seeing wonder in our own backyard, how to, the ordinary things that we see, how to see them in that extraordinary way. So how would we do that? So we're not going to suddenly become a foreigner in our own city, but how do we see our community maybe through somebody else's eyes?
Well, I think first off, it has to be intentional. If you know, what were we talking about earlier? How gratitude fades when familiarity grows. When we're too familiar with something, we stop noticing it. You know, it's just the ordinary everyday life, like the fact that we roll out of bed and put our feet on the floor and have a bathroom with running water. Do we often even stop and think twice that there are places in the world that don't have those things and be grateful for that? So when we're not familiar with their other countries and their other cultures, but this experience here is kind of waking us up to, well, yeah, we do have water on the table. We do get breadsticks or chips and salsa.
We get so much food,
so
we
many
can take
choices.
it home and eat it for another meal.
Right. You know, we can get into our cars and drive somewhere and pay to park, or we don't need a passport. That's another one I keep seeing so many Americans, they are not well traveled. They don't even have passports. And I see now people saying they don't need them. They have this huge country and they can go anywhere in this country without a passport. So they are well traveled. Everything we experience everywhere else in the world, you could experience here in the United States. And that's another thing I keep seeing. So do we take that for granted? Or do we see everybody going to Europe and think, oh, we have to go overseas. Oh, we have to go to South Africa. Oh, we have to go to Ireland.
I say Tokyo has been the big one lately.
Tokyo, or I don't know.
Yeah, but I agree
instead,
with that.
Thinking, can we go to a national park? Can we travel to, you know, the swamplands of Louisiana and take a ride through the bayou, see the alligator? I mean, there's lots of different places that we can go and experience that are right here outside of our own back door.
Well, and the diversity within the United States, state to state, is different. I mean, we are all Americans. We're all, you know, but at the same time, we're very different. The states are very unique to each other. My family traveled to the Pacific Northwest last summer as our vacation, and we'd never been up there before. And it was, in some ways, it's exactly the same. In some ways, it's extremely different. And it was really, we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And we couldn't get over the natural beauty, the weather, you know, just how different it was from here. So I think that's a good way to say it, like to stop and really pay attention to maybe how they're experiencing things, what we see on social, and then how we experience them. Something that really helped me open my eyes to what, you know, how different we have it from other places. One is traveling. I mean, obviously when you travel somewhere else, but a lot of times as Americans, we're like, oh my gosh, everybody else has it better. It's so much, you know, it's so amazing over there, or where, you know, wherever you go. Right. When we had our foreign exchange student here, Clara, a few years back, oh my gosh, just getting her into the car and driving her to school that first morning, and we saw a yellow school bus. She came unglued that there was a yellow school bus. Cheerleaders. She didn't realize that cheerleaders actually existed, except for in movies. Her American culture knowledge was movies, right? So when we drove past downtown Houston for the first time, she just was glued to the window. She'd never seen anything like that, you know? So all those kinds of things, I think you stop and think about it. Not everything's the same everywhere, even from state to state, city to city within the U.S. And then, you know, just pausing and taking a moment to, you know, all these silly little things that we take for granted. I'm trying to think of one right now and I can't, like, you know, I would even say road tripping. just the ability to get in the car and just drive across. I mean, think about how far you could drive in, and I was going to say Texas, which it's like 16 hours. You're not out of Texas,
Yes.
but to drive from the East Coast to the West Coast or the Gulf of America up to Canada. I mean, like those are some really long drives and you never leave the country. And
yeah, we went through 5 states last week and we were shocked.
When we were kids,
state number 2, state number 3.
we were kids, we road tripped a lot and we camped. We didn't stay in hotels, we camped. And so just having that opportunity to do those things and to, so what we can do to get outside of ourselves, maybe go visit a landmark. If you were a tourist in your city or in your area, what would you go see? And we might overthink it. So Google it, like look it up online and what do people come to see in your area? Maybe go to a community event. Maybe there's a summer. So a lot of places have festivals, maybe state fairs, different things like that in places that aren't terribly hot. Maybe is there a walking tour of your town or your city, your community?
I'll give you one, Lisa. Houston, we have the tunnel system underneath downtown.
Oh, yes.
I have not seen any tourists going downtown into the tunnel system. But
they probably don't know it exists.
It's not hot down there. It's air conditioned.
Do you know I have a lot of friends, I was talking about this in book group. Most of them had no idea it existed. One of them saw a reference to it and they were like, did you know there's tunnels downtown Houston? I'm like, yeah. It's like 5 miles of tunnels. Yep. They're down there that you can walk and there's shopping malls and food courts and stores and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we used to go down there.
Take an architectural tour. See if if you live near an urban city, a big city like Houston or Chicago or I don't know, see if they have an architectural tour. You will not be sorry. That is a fascinating tour.
Or a historical tour. Like we've talked about the painted churches near us. That are about an hour or 2 away, or Galveston was doing a historical tour of their churches this last weekend, which included the church you were married at.
Yes. Look for, I've been thinking about some of the smaller towns, rural small towns I've been to. Look for the historical society. They usually have a storefront somewhere that's kind of like the local history museum. And I know, Lisa, y'all aren't big museum people, but there's something nice and unique about visiting that and then talking with the locals and asking them, what's really important here and what could you tell me about it that I'm not learning from this placard or that spinning wheel or whatever. Yes, sometimes they start to look the same, but each one has got a really unique story. All you have to do is ask the docent.
I love that idea. I just read about a vintage sewing machine museum in Tulsa with 1,500 different sewing machines that are at least 150 years old, which is crazy. But I'd love to know the story of how that came about because it's interesting. Something else I was going to say is go to a new restaurant. Something maybe even out of your comfort zone, maybe a new part of town. Houston is a huge food town. I'm seeing a lot of arguments online right now about that we're a larger foodie town than I'm not going to name names, but other big cities you would think were big foodie towns. But, it's just step out of your comfort zone. Like you said, going to have Vietnamese food for the first time, or we have a big West African cuisine location here in Houston. Go somewhere different.
And hopefully they are as welcoming and as friendly and teaching us about their cuisine and the flavors and the how to eat now that they've had all these guests coming in for the World Cup games. So that would be fun.
Or heck, just
there have been places I haven't gone to eat because I don't know what the cuisine is or how to order.
Yeah. I was at there's a chicken and waffles place I've never been to that I keep hearing really good things about. So
chicken and waffles is not my thing, but
shame on you.
Been there, done that.
And then the other thing is just when you see these things and when you're recognizing them, give thanks. Give thanks that we live in a place that you have this opportunity to notice these small things. And if you're having trouble noticing, ask God to help you. Ask him to show you, where you can be grateful for the everyday stuff in your lives.
I think that as we wrap up today's conversation, We're grateful for the reminder that, as you've been saying so much, the wonder is not reserved for travelers and first-time visitors.
Yeah, sometimes the most meaningful discoveries aren't the ones found in distant places or different places. They're found right where we are when we choose to look with fresh eyes.
Yep. And as we've talked about, the excitement that we are seeing from all these visitors experiencing America reminds us that the blessings we get to encounter every day are real and true blessings, even if we've become accustomed to them.
Exactly. Our communities, our churches, our neighbors, our freedoms, the beauty of creation all around us. These are all gifts from God that deserve our attention and our gratitude.
Okay, so listeners, here's a simple challenge for you this week. As we've kind of talked about, we invite you to take a walk through your neighborhood. Go and visit your favorite local place. Seek out and attend a community event, or just take a pause in what you're doing and notice something again that you realize you've stopped seeing.
That's a good one. Look at your town, your daily routine, and the people around you as if you're seeing them for the very first time.
And then as you do, and you get that feeling of really truly noticing it, offer your thanks to God for anything that you've discovered.
I like that. Thanks for spending time with us, and we'd love to hear what you see and what you recognize as you take this challenge this week. All right. Until next time.
Bye, y'all.